In the years since Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto created the interesting experiment in decentralized finance, cryptocurrencies in general have flourished to a large extent. Bitcoin alone has risen by more than 10 million% in value since 2010, with both legendary and beginner investors looking to get their hands on the altcoins while they still can. But this hasn't stopped critics from calling Bitcoin dead in the water, citing many reasons as to why the cryptocurrency will never be a true form of payment. So whether you're a potential investor in the altcoin market or just want to know as much as possible about the future of cryptocurrencies, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore why Bitcoin and other altcoins of the like are far from dead. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with the notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. What the skeptics have said. Ever since Bitcoin was first created around a decade or so ago, a number of critics have taken the lead in berating it for not being a true currency. And while it used to be the fact that members of the public found the crypto market to be untrustworthy, reporters of doom have had to change the reasons for their opinions, with Bitcoin reaching global recognition and use. The fact that there are around 2,000 different types of altcoins on the market at the moment has also been used as a clear sign that the crypto market is booming, as why else would so many investors be taking the plunge? According to a CNBC report, these numbers may actually end up being a tad deceptive. Of the 2,000 reported altcoins currently in circulation, around 800 of them are essentially dead on arrival, being worth less than a single penny. And of those that remain, only a small number of cryptocurrencies are considered to be relevant. When it comes to investing in items such as gold and crude oil, the average person would be able to tell you that the more gold and crude oil that are mined, the larger the dollar value this investment will be at the end of the day. It is pretty simple to understand, as it's an investment that has been in circulation since even before we were born. Investments in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, on the other hand, are based on the workings of blockchain technology, which is not something that the average person on the street chooses to understand. And since investments such as these are incredibly new, it's not like potential investors were taught how they worked back in school, as was the case with physical items like gold and crude oil. The older generation have a deep-rooted hatred towards things that are incorporeal and require the use of advanced technology to understand, which is what led many critics to speak out against the idea that Bitcoin will take off and become a true form of decentralized currency. Considering that a vast majority of older citizens also refuse to make use of electronic banking because of the rampant scams and fraud that can be introduced on a daily basis, you can also imagine the reservations of such people to invest in something like cryptocurrency. This idea is only expanded upon by looking at the past of Bitcoin, which was often used to purchase a number of unlawful items on the dark web. As the concern suggests, there have been actually quite a few reports of scams and fraud in the crypto market over the last few years, as well as other signs of trouble in the sector in general. Not more than the constant barrage of banking phishing emails we receive on a daily basis, but since we are used to these, we really don't consider them to be dangerous anymore. Since not many average Janes and Joes know about crypto, it would be easier to defraud them out of investments, making the worry and threat a pretty real one at the end of the day. Keeping all of this in mind, critics also point at the difficulties that Bitcoin faced in 2018, reaching an incredible high with a valuation of around $20,000 per coin. The price of Bitcoin came crashing down a mere month later. It wasn't just the value of the altcoin that dropped though, as the value of the crypto transactions carried out actually collapsed by nearly 75% during the second quarter of 2018. The reason behind the crash of Bitcoin. Although critics have put forward their own conflated opinions regarding the crash of Bitcoin, the true reason remains simple. Investments have the ability to spike and tank at a moment's notice. It's for that reason that people who invest in the stock market or even crude oil can be said to be partaking in a form of gambling. Even when an expert says that an investment is a sure thing, this is never guaranteed, and the same can be said when it comes to an investment in cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. On top of this expected rise and fall in value was the general lack of acceptance that Bitcoin was receiving in the investment arena. Since experts in the field have always known how to make money through investing, why introduce something as volatile as crypto to mix the market up once more? This is why the United States SEC denied more than a dozen applications to list Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, and why those who want to trade have to make use of a separate exchange platform to do so. The leeway and freedom that cryptocurrencies enjoy as being unregulated commodities is rapidly coming to an end. In the past couple of years, there has been a drastic upswing in regulatory efforts, with countries taking a more deliberate stance due to the success that Bitcoin went on to achieve. While this is another reason that many skeptics point to, it was mostly the refusal to recognize the various cryptos of the world that caused trust in Bitcoin to dwindle, essentially leading to its crash and volatile nature. An argument for Bitcoin. While it may be true that Bitcoin prices, and by extension the valuations of other cryptos, crashed in early 2018, the volatility that defined the altcoin market back then has gradually begun to fade away. This is clearly bad news for speculators who make their money from risking it all on chance. markets. But great news for institutional investors, who many believe hold the future of the crypto market in their hands. It is only by taking the ab out of abnormal that institutional investors will find a place for themselves on the crypto market, which is essentially what has led to the disappearance of the aforementioned volatility. Remember, cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology used to be something incredibly new to society, which somehow led to a couple of investors becoming incredibly wealthy. And when something sounds too good to be true, people pass up on the opportunity to be a part of it, only bringing themselves to invest at a time when volatility is no longer an issue. And it would appear as if we have reached this point with Bitcoin, as although the majority of merchants still consider themselves to be wary of payments via altcoins, the majority of banks, major tech firms, and other corporations have already started to make a habit of taking these cryptos on. And according to GeekVR CEO and founder Mary Spio, cryptocurrency is nowhere near dead. It's just scratching the tip of the iceberg towards mainstream adoption. When companies offer purposeful, real-life value and integration of cryptocurrencies, that's when we begin to see the next wave and resurgence of cryptos. It's all about creating a more natural demand and less speculation and hype. And while less speculation and hype sounds like defeat to a market that has been played and to a large extent determined by internet culture, this is the best thing for cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin in general. While investors in Bitcoin will no longer have the simple choice of making it rich or losing everything, the cryptocurrency will start to gain even more global recognition and be brought on as a proper means of investment. It might not be what we are used to, but it's the future. And since the majority of these dead cryptos mentioned earlier were those based on hype and little else, this movement of Bitcoin serves as a reminder that the altcoin is far from dead. While many have shot down the idea that Bitcoin and other forms of cryptocurrency are mainstream, a number of sectors seem determined to prove these people wrong. The use of altcoins may not be your standard form of payment, with a number of merchants not having jumped on the cryptocurrency train, but the technology that underlies these currencies is quickly becoming a part of different sectors and industries, causing far more trust in what was previously not understood. And what is more crucial about this extension of use is that the services these tools provide us, which are all based on and powered by crypto, so as companies continue to fix points and uncover new frictionless solutions to old problems with blockchain technology, Bitcoin will likely flex its muscles even further. And we can't forget how many merchants are currently jumping on board when it comes to Bitcoin, which many companies now see as a method of making more money from simple purchases. Elon Musk, for example, who many consider to be the unofficial spokesperson for both Bitcoin and Dogecoin, has said that after much consideration, Tesla will now allow customers to buy vehicles with the use of Bitcoin. The Burger King franchise in Germany has also started to accept payment for orders in the form of Bitcoin. In fact, owners of Bitcoin can also head on over to cheapair.com, which offers a number of examples of hotels around the world which are willing to take payment with the use of Bitcoin. The introduction of the Spend app has also resulted in a great many merchants accepting the use of Bitcoin to pay for both products and services. For those of you who don't know, Spend allows the average Jane and Joe to buy products from franchises such as Baskin-Robbins, Caribou Coffee, Whole Foods, and Jamba Juice, all of whom accept payment in Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Gemini. The app actually generates a QR code that the user then presents at the point of sale, while the merchant receives payment immediately in dollars. The equivalent amount of cryptocurrency is then removed from the wallet of the consumer. It's simply as easy as that. In other words, the bottom line is that Bitcoin is not dead. In fact, the changes it is undergoing just speaks to its continued life. But what do you think? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.